Hi, this is Chrissy Bell with Tidewater Management Group. So many agents come to me and they say, Chrissy, I had a great AEP, had a great OEP. How can I keep that momentum up and continue to grow my book of business throughout the year? And one of the great ways that you can do that is to help your clients qualify for Medicaid and or the low income subsidy or both. So let's start with Medicaid. And when I refer to Medicaid in our space, I mean the Medicare Savings Program. And your client can qualify for these programs through your state Medicaid office. The qualifications do vary a little from state to state, and the application is going to look a little different from state to state as well. So make sure you look up those qualifications on your state Medicaid website. Again, it's called the Medicare Savings Program. There's generally 4 levels that go along with this program. The first being QMB Plus, which stands for Qualified Medicare Beneficiary Plus. Next is QMB, which is just Qualified Medicare Beneficiary. Third is SLMB or SLMB, which stands for Specified Low Income Beneficiary. And fourth is the QI1 or Qualified Individual. And the differences in those different levels will be their income. So QMB Plus will be your lowest income level, and your QI1 will be your highest income level. So again, they all would qualify for the Medicare Savings Program, and you would have to apply through your particular state. It could take anywhere, I've seen it take a week up to 45 days for your client to find out if they qualify for one of those programs. Now, from there, if your client qualifies for one of those 4 programs, the number one thing they qualify for is the state to pay their Part B premium. So the $164.90 would be put back into their Social Security check, which is a huge savings for your client. It could take anywhere from 30 to 90 days for that money to show back up into their check, but it will start going back into their Social Security check. So you've become that client's hero by putting that $164.90 back into their check. Now, what does that mean for your client if they qualify for one of those 4 programs? Well, in a lot of states, they offer what's called DSNP programs, or we refer to them as dual special needs plans. So your client not only has to qualify for Medicare Parts A and B, but they also have to qualify for that Medicaid program that we just spoke about. Now, depending on the carrier, depends on the different levels that we talked about, whether they qualify for that particular plan. So in a lot of states, and some plans will only take what we call full Medicaid beneficiaries, which will be, in many cases, your QMB pluses and your QMB beneficiaries, okay? Some plans will also take what we call your partial Medicaid, which would be your SLMBs and your QI1s. So again, their incomes are a little bit higher than your QMB pluses and your QMBs. So sometimes they can join the same plan, or they might have separate plans where your partials might go on one plan and your full Medicaid beneficiaries will go on a different DSNP plan. But let's say your state doesn't offer any of those types of programs. They would still qualify for one of your regular Medicare Advantage programs. You know, again, you need to check with your specific carrier to see what plan that would be best fit for your particular client. Those DSNP programs, as we know, have grown tremendously, and the benefits are just getting ridiculous. I know a lot of them have very rich dental benefits. Some have introduced a food card where they can pick up groceries every month, an OTC benefit, and even transportation. And that's just scratching the surface as to what these DSNP programs are offering your particular clients once they qualify. So what comes next? Let's say you did help your client with one of the Medicare Savings Program and got them qualified for that plan. That also qualifies them for what we call LIS, or the Low Income Subsidy, or you might see it on the Social Security website as extra help. And what that means is that your client not only now gets help on their Part B premium and get some extra benefits and maybe some cost share reductions, they also get extra help on their prescription drug plan. So let's just say your client might have a PDP and there's a premium attached to that. If they qualify for the low income subsidy, it could lower that premium drastically or take it to 0 for the cost monthly. Also, it will help on prescription drug costs. The copays could significantly decrease, and in some cases be a 0 copay for your clients as well. So you've really helped your client all across the board if you help them get on the Medicare Savings Program, because it also qualifies them for the federal LIS program. Now let's say your client makes more than the QI1 option for the Medicare Savings Program. They could still qualify just for the low income subsidy through the Social Security Administration, and all those income limits are out there on the ssa.gov website. So again, if your client makes too much for Medicare Savings, they might still just qualify for the low income subsidy. Either one of those programs will allow your client to make a change once a quarter, except for the fourth quarter. So their changes can only be made in the first quarter, second quarter, or third quarter, or they can make a change in all 3 quarters if they want to. The government allows them a once a quarter change. During the fourth quarter, generally your client would just make an AEP election for January 1. But if your client happens to qualify for one of these programs during the fourth quarter, like a newly eligible on Medicare Savings or newly eligible for the LIS program, they can make a change during that fourth quarter So it doesn't have to be an AEP election. It could be a November or December 1 effective date. I know that's a lot of information, but a lot of good information. If you have specific questions about your state or the low income subsidy program through ssa.gov, give us a call here at Tidewater at 888-622-9122. We look forward to hearing from you.